Hello friends and welcome back to another video. Now, this isn't typically where I start one of these videos, but it is in the middle of the afternoon, so this isn't a typical musical video. Today, I am taking my husband and my best friend to go see Wicked. Wicked's a pretty popular musical. Most people have heard of it, but if you have not heard of it, let me give you the synopsis that the Straz Center put on their website. Wicked, the Broadway sensation, looks at what happened in the land of Oz, but from a different angle. Long before Dorothy arrives, there is another young woman, born with emerald green skin, smart, fiery, misunderstood, and possessing an extraordinary talent. When she meets a bubbly blonde, who is exceptionally popular, their initial rivalry turns into the unlikeliest of friendships, until the world decides to call one good and the other one wicked. Now, my husband has been to other musicals, but my best friend, who has made many appearances on this channel, Brittany, she has never seen a musical. And so this will be her first taste of a musical. We're gonna keep a count in the corner of how many times I just said musical. So the season tickets that my mom and I have are the Saturday afternoon show, but today is Sunday, and we're actually going to the night show. So there's no need for you to watch me get ready, because it's 3 o'clock right now. We would have already been in our musical at this point normally. So we've had a pretty chill morning. We went and got lunch with my husband's parents and grandparents, did a few shopping trips, and yeah, so now we're just gonna chill. Kentucky is playing basketball right now in March Madness, so fingers crossed they win this game, and you'll know by the time, this video's up. Once I decide to start getting ready, I'll meet you in the bathroom. This is better. So I've seen Wicked before, years ago. I went to high school and saw it on Broadway. It was an orchestra trip. We were performing in some competition in New York, and while we were there, we got to go see a Broadway show. And we all voted on it. I remember voting on it. And Wicked ended up winning. It was years ago, but the music is one of those things you just can't get out of your head. Music from Wicked are on a lot of the Spotify playlists, best of Broadway. So I'm constantly listening to this music. We'll see if I can dig up any pictures from that trip, and I'll put them here. As soon as I saw Wicked was coming, I was so excited, because Wicked was my very first Broadway show, or first musical in general. Big production musical. I knew I had to go see it. Who I would go see it with, that was up in the air. Now, you've seen me do lots of different kinds of eye makeups. I'm gonna keep it very simple today. We're gonna use my Morphe palette, but I also still don't know a lot of what I'm doing, but we're gonna keep it basic today. I'm currently good on time, but the minute I start making things complicated, my time goes out the window and I'm late. And we ain't doing that today. Hey Google, what's the weather tonight?
The forecast is for a high of 63 and a low of 51 with scattered showers.
It's gonna be cool today. Or tonight. So I'm gonna keep that in mind, because I know exactly what I wanna wear. Which is also a first. Keeping in mind what I'd like to wear. I need pinks. There's no pinks in there. Yep, screw it. We're using all sorts of palettes. I'm gonna use this Morphe palette. Alright. Starting to make it more complicated. Still Still fine on time though, but anyone else do that? Just make funny faces at themselves? No? Just me? Now to finish the hair.
Sorry, next time out, I'm going to get dressed. Yes. Let's go. Yes. Come on. On defense, stop him for once.
Brittany, this was the reason we're a little late.
It's our ball. Sorry, Brittany. What? You call that so late? Oh. Never mind. I see why they called it now. Sorry. Sorry, ref. My bad. Yes! You go, Lance!
In the car on our way to pick up our third guest.
Sausage biscuit or sausage McMuffin paired with hash browns for $2.79 in the morning.
Happy Sunday.
Now we are complete and ready to go. I bet you will never guess where we are going for dinner. Last chance. You guessed it. The best place to go to dinner before show, and it's quick. Food reviews.
Can I have your pickle? I also got her pickle the other day.
Current thoughts, feelings on your first musical.
I'm excited. I know it's a good one to see, or at least that's what I've heard.
Any thoughts, comments on your first time seeing Wicked?
No, I'm just excited to see what it's all about, see what the hype's about.
Switching to phone mode. So it has been a few days, obviously, since the play. But in true Kate Takes on Musicals fashion, here we are sitting down to give our reviews. We're going to do it a little differently, not necessarily interview style, but guided questions. So just to start, and as a reminder, granted it was like a few minutes ago in your land, first musical, seen musicals, seen this musical.
This was my very first musical.
I've seen a few musicals. I can't remember exactly how many, but...
And then I've seen this musical. So that's kind of the background coming into this review and ratings that we have. So to keep that in mind. To start, let's start on something positive. What was your favorite song?
I would say popular because it was funny. I like the funny parts of it when she was like... Yeah.
I picked One Short Day. I just like the beat of it, and I had heard Popular and Defying Gravity like out of context, and like in context obviously they make a lot more sense, and I still like those songs, but I tried to pick a song that was not familiar to me.
One of my favorite songs is Dancing Through Life, but I think a really underrated song that I really do like is No Good Deed. During intermission, you looked at me and we had a slight conversation that Elphaba seemed pitchy. Elphaba's voice just wasn't as good as I was expecting. Granted, you're not going to get, your recording quality.
Yeah.
So I was expecting it to be a little better than it was.
Yeah. I thought that the music was really loud and the mics were really low. But yeah, I was having a hard time hearing the singing, especially in the opening number.
I agree with the music. Like the first song, I was like, I don't know what they're saying.
I definitely think the mix was off. And the other thing I didn't like is in What Is This Feeling? They're singing together. Elphaba and Galinda are singing together, and Glinda's voice came through much louder than Elphaba's. I don't know if it was because of where we were sitting. We were at the back under an overhang, but I don't feel like that should be the reason why the mixing sounded off. With the storyline of it, thoughts on the storyline? Were you surprised with anything? Now remember, we are a no spoilers channel.
I thought it was going to be like The Wizard of Oz, and it wasn't at all.
But the connections that it made to The Wizard
Yes.
of Oz, I was like, oh, that was so cool how they did that.
One of my favorite things about it, it's not Wizard of Oz, but I loved how much it does intertwine eventually. And then you just go, and I caught you so much. Oh! Yeah, so it's pre-Wizard of Oz, though about halfway through it, it's almost like the timeline catches up. It is like The Wizard of Oz.
I just liked the story. There's a lot of things from The Wizard of Oz that I always thought the Wicked Witch of the West was evil, and Wicked like twisted my mind, changed the way I thought about it.
You will never watch The Wizard of Oz
Exactly,
the same
'cause-
ever again.
I will say, of all the musicals that I've seen, this musical probably has the best mix of talking and music. A lot of the musicals that we've seen recently, even, it seems to be there's a lot more music than talking. And so then the storyline is in the music and then you can get lost. But I think this does a really good job of kind of doing both, where you do have a lot of story in your music, but you also have a lot of dialogue, and the dialogue makes it hilarious. It's like in Popular, it's a great song. You know the song's pretty funny, but when you see it performed and you see all the things that they obviously can't put in the music that you can listen to at home, it adds so much more humor to it.
I was shocked by how incredibly funny it was.
Yes.
Like, I don't know what I was expecting. I don't know why. I just wasn't expecting it to be so funny. I felt like the scenes that were taking place at the school, like basically the whole first act, just like seemed really long and drawn out compared to the second act.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot more character development in the first half, which
That's
is what
true.
takes so long,
Yeah.
and then like the good story gets
right.
taken is in the second half.
That's true.
Thoughts on the set? Sets can either make or break musicals, where if you have a very basic set and you don't do much with it, the musical can get lost. Or if you have a set that's maybe too busy, that it can just seem very busy. So what are your thoughts on the set that they had here?
I thought it was good. Like,
Loved the lights, especially when they got to the part in Emerald City, like the bright green lights. I was like really drawn into.
Did you notice that there always seemed to be a green spotlight on Elphaba?
yeah.
Yes. Well, I liked the cohesiveness with the clock in the background. That was really cool, and how that got intertwined with all of the different stuff.
I liked the stuff that like the flying when she came in on the bubble. You couldn't see her hooked up into it, or strings coming down, or
Yeah,
the
you
broom
couldn't see-
flying in. The broom flew in. I was like, where did that come from?
Oh, yeah, that's true. The monkeys were my favorite part.
They were
Thank you.
awesome. Yes.
I don't know why, but like I just thought the acrobatics and everything of the monkeys was just really, really cool. I really liked the monkeys.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite parts, is when she's talking about freeing the monkeys, and so the set moves apart and you just see a cage in the background with the monkeys crawling all over it. That's one of my favorite parts.
Yeah.
The one thing you said, and I completely agree, and I really do like that list, is it did all have a cohesiveness because of the clock that was in the background the whole time. You hit the nail on the head. Is like, it just seemed very cohesive. You could really tell each of the scenes apart. You could tell each of the places that they were. Even if they were trying to be two places on the stage at once, you could tell the difference. So I liked that as well. Coming with the most knowledge of this, I almost cried with the first note of it, because hearing a full live orchestra seeing it all and it all going together and them singing for the first time, not for the first time, but hearing it all come at you is, I think, very impactful, and it just gave me chills, and I really liked that. And I did even cry towards the end. It's fine, because I am just an emotional person, and this music is great, the story is great, and I can't say anything bad about this show. minus being a little pitchy. With that, we will give our ratings on a scale of 1 to 10. So we'll start with Brittany, the blank slate.
Okay.
How would you rate this musical?
I gave it an 8 out of 10 because, again, I have nothing to compare it to. So as much as everybody has told me, oh my gosh, it's the greatest, like, I don't know how it is in comparison to something else. So I didn't want to give it a perfect 10 because I have nothing to compare it to in that sense. Also, I thought some of the things that we mentioned that like could have been corrected, like maybe the sound mixing or pitchiness of the singers or, you know, whatever. This particular performance, those things could have been corrected to make it better.
Yep.
So that's also why I didn't want to give it a 10 out of 10. But like you were just mentioning with the set and the storyline and stuff, love the sets, love the storyline. I loved it all. It was all really, really great. But I didn't feel like I could give it a 10 out of 10.
Brett?
I was also going to give it an 8 out of 10. I've seen a few musicals, but out of all of them that I've seen, this one was definitely my favorite because I was more familiar with the storyline and some of the music that I've listened to because we've played it in the house or car or whatever. But yeah, I like the storyline. Like you said, the set was good. The music was good. I didn't give it a 10 out of 10 because I couldn't understand the first few songs.
Yeah.
The microphones were bad or something. I was like, I don't know what they're saying. Yeah, the storyline was definitely my favorite part of the musical.
I would rate this a 10 out of 10 because as soon as it was over, I wish I had tickets to go see it again. And that's the one thing that with the last show we just saw, Sheer Madness, that was the one thing Mom and I talked about is that, you know, really with your ratings, to get a 10 out of 10, I think it's something that you want to go see again. I was so sad when it was over because the story's so good, the music's so good. This is a musical that I want to see again, over and over again. Lastly, would you recommend it?
Yes.
2 thumbs up.
We're all in agreement that if this musical ever has any stops in your city, to definitely go see it. You can go with no prior knowledge and it'll be just as good as if you have listened to the music or seen it before, as you can tell. I would like to thank my special guests for this video, Brittany and Brett, on seeing this musical with me. The next time you see me, my mother will be back. We are seeing To Kill a Mockingbird, which is more of a drama with Richard Thomas, whoever that is. My mother will talk more about him when we see it. But until then, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye.